What age? I would say this would be my favorite toy from the ages of 3 to 6.
What date, sir?
Huh? What dates? I'm not giving you dates. June 18th to June 18th because it's my birthday. Next. Does anyone want to guess?
Happy birthday!
Huh? Thank you. Anyways, does anyone want to guess my favorite toy?
Pickle, pickle.
It was not that cool. It was not my. Huh? What? Barbie. No. Tamagotchi. Absolutely not.
Bakugan.
What? Bakugan was a little bit after my time. Surprisingly. Huh? Beyblade is goated, but it wasn't that. Yu-Gi-Oh is all my days. I believe it. I have heard it. It's not that. Huh? Transformers is pretty good. So, just put your hands up. Okay, what do you want then? What is it? Like put your hand up for it. Because everyone put their hand up to say. Oh. Anyway, enough silly questions. What else? Huh? Pokemon. Again, no. So, because none of you got it, are you getting any chocolate? Great for me. My favorite toy from the ages of 3 to 6 was a serving spoon. Because. Yeah, so it was a spoon because this side my face was crunched up and the other side was my face widened. So from the ages 3 to 6, that was kind of good for me. But maybe not 6. 6 is a bit old. So probably 3 years old, 100%. But yeah, I'm trying to say that in the sense of joy because that was pure non-functioning. There was no reason behind it, and such joy only stemming from Christ in the whole purity of it is what I'm trying to get at. And that childlike joy is what we're trying to, if you're lucky enough to grow old, to keep in your life. And lastly, to the family and the world, because we started with Christ, but obviously we're trying to flow into the whole, the first people you meet, your family, and for you to grow into young men and women to the world. So, next please. And so to live out the KFC core values. So, take the next slide. The first one is the love for God. And so, this is one of the core values that we're trying to instill in a Rock Facilitator, in you guys. So we've gone through what that first motto meant, to live and die by it as a Rock Facilitator. But if you're going to lead these KFCs, you need to love God. And that means, if you ask your titos and titas, what does love really mean? And it would be to wish, they'll probably give you a ton of different answers. But when it comes to the unbridled definition, it is to wish best for someone else. And so to wish the best for God is also to wish the best for yourself. And to hang in and make that relationship become one, you have to spend time. Spend time in prayer, spend time in Mass, spend time in holy adoration. And so I would implore you to spend time with Christ in your own private prayer time. And so, yeah, I think when it comes to being a KFC facilitator, without the love of God, you're going to fail. Thank you. And next slide, please. Love for family. So, does everyone here love their family? Yeah? Some of your parents are back there. Do you love your family, guys? Yes, alright, cool. Who do you love most in your family? Oh my gosh, there's actually answers. Yo! Alright, that's crazy talk. I was expecting dead silence, but some people actually answered that. Yes, so to love your family. And so these, as you can kind of tell, the expectations that we have for ourselves are also expectations we have when we're trying to lead these children as well. So to love our family, and so, as I said before, we need this to be the best examples of these kids. So when you see So when these kids look at you, as I think Jam said it, they'll look for examples. They'll look to see how you act. And so with such a family ministry, to love your family and have everybody involved in your family, they'll look at you. If you're an older brother or an older sister, I'm pretty bad at this. Everyone knows my little brother Vaughn. I'm pretty sure he got when he was younger, most of his little tantrums, he probably got that from me. So, like, I grew out of it, and he eventually grew out of it. But most definitely, I was the forerunner of those kind of activities. And so, this is what we mean by love in your family, is that we're trying to make these kids not just prayerful in the God sense, but obedient and to love their family as much as we do. And so, by example, please love your family. Next. Thanks. Love for the poor. And so, this is going to be a tough one. Whatever you do to the lesser of these, you do unto me, that's what Christ said. So, how many people here do charity work? Oh dear. Let's say, like, loving the poor. It's a very loaded question. Some people will think like, oh, like, love them, like a familial kind of love. And that's not what I'm trying to get at. By loving in this sense, it is to serve. Love is an action word, and so it is a verb. And when it means to love the poor, and as I said before, to show an example, is to go to these kind of ANCOP events, to be the person to lay down and sacrifice for someone else who is lesser. And so, little story, I do charity work. I help out in a homeless shelter, and I can say to you that some of these people are extremely misunderstood. I've been dealt a bad hand in life, and they don't deserve the hate that they do get. And so, when it means to love the poor in the KFC Rock Facilitator means, it's that when you're with the kids and you're trying to show charity, you know, is to be that person to, if you were to ever take a day trip, to show that charitable act, or to a good one that we did, not really with the kids, but with the YFCs, would have been to go to some of these nursing homes and to sing Christmas carols to them. Obviously, we did it for money because, but it was also nice for them to see the youth going out of their way to be able to provide and to be able to warm the hearts of some of these senior citizens. And so that's what we mean by loving the poor. It's not just as a familial type of family, though, but to also serve them. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. And the next, and love for life. Let me just get it. So, when it comes for the love of life, how many here genuinely? Oh my days, this is gonna be a deep question. How many people here actually genuinely love where they are in their life? Okay. Well, are we still in exam season? Because is that why you all hate your lives? Are we all just worried about our next test in September or our results in September? Yeah? You can be real with me. I'm chilling here. I'm done with all that, by the way. And I remember I hated my life from July to September. So it's all good. Or September to July. And so when it comes to loving life, what does that mean? I mean by like all aspects. So we've already talked about God, family, and the poor, but we're talking about your career. We're talking about the way that you are educated, striving for excellence in that sense, or new experiences in life. You know, when you decide to go out traveling or to pick up a hobby, to pick out something you do, people call it self-care, but I would say you are living life to the fullest. You are recruiting memories, you're recruiting experiences, you're recruiting something that is building you up as a person of your life and of obviously Christ. And so, as much as we've gone through loving poor, loving family, loving Christ and God, you need to also take time to love yourself in that sense, and the best aspects of yourself. I am telling you, don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't get into gambling, get into stuff that is going to fulfill your life. And then when you stand in front of these KFCs with a fulfilled life, they'll see that and be like, I want to be that Kuya, I want to be that Adam, you know? Hopefully, you know, you look at some of your Kuyas and Adas here and your Titos and Titas here. I know I have, and I felt like, you know what, that's where I want to be, that's what I want. So, that's awesome. Amen?
Amen.
You still awake?
Yes.
Cool, just about. Not like that. So, can we move on to the next slide, please, Tristan? So, we did it as boy and girls. So let's do it all together for this last one. So let's go. 3, 2, 1. And so I tell you, Peter, you are a rock, and on this rock foundation I will build my church, and not even death will be able to overcome it. Matthew 16:18. Right. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Hey, okay, I got the church goals going. So when it comes to that, you are, as Peter and as let's say St. Paul as well, from the Colossians and Corinthians that we read the other verses previously, you be chosen by Christ to build his church, right? And as that foundation, as God is to you, you will be to these children. That's a Moses reference, if you got it. And so when it comes to these kids, you are, I'm not going to say you're like God to them, but you are definitely going to be their kind of spiritual leader in that sense when you become a rock facilitator. And so you are be given this responsibility. You have been chosen by Christ to help build his church here in heaven and to bring one extra member to that church with you to heaven. And what greater honor than that? Amen? And so, I think for that is my talk. So for that, may God be praised. And we'll move on to our final discussion group questions, which will be, how strong is your relationship with Christ? Which of the following values are you struggling with and why? And what do you want your group mates to pray for you? Can we move into our discussion groups, please?